To learn the good, the bad, and the reality of the off-grid lifestyle, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So in yesterday's video, I was telling you how there's been quite a few folks that thought that I should be moving faster when it comes to the demolition of our future tiny home spot. And behind me, you can see that we are tearing down an old mobile home trailer for those who have not seen the videos yet. And we're gonna build our tiny house up here. It's gonna be 12 by 16, 12 feet wide from these wings here to the other side. And then I think 16 feet takes me, I don't know, about right here. And I would say yesterday's video, I was probably, I don't know, right around here somewhere. And I've gotten a lot accomplished. I even got some of the wall taken down there. And the reason I decided to move quickly, one was because there was no more glass in the floor, you know, in the carpet of the trailer. And so I got all the glass collected up here, so I didn't have to worry about trying to, you know, pick all that out. The second thing is it cooled off again. And this cool weather is really putting a damper on things. It's raining and it's cold. And so what I thought I would do is I would pile all the scrap lumber there. Now in yesterday's video, I was telling you I didn't want to have a big pile of lumber because copperheads are going to accumulate there, and I would have to wait until next fall before I could actually do anything with it, because guaranteed I would pick up a board and there'd be a copperhead right there. And copperheads don't like to be disturbed. They're actually a very aggressive snake, copperheads. They're not quite as poisonous. I mean, they'll make you sick, but very few people actually die from a copperhead bite. But I don't want to get sick either. But the reason I decided to go ahead and accumulate the stuff here is today I could burn it because it's cool, it's wet, nothing would catch on fire. And so I could burn the wood, and then I just cut up the little carpet pieces here like I've been doing, put them in trash bags, and then when we go to the dump, I just load the truck up with huge garbage bags and hopefully just get away with $20 worth of trash, because that's what it is, 20 bucks per truckload. Anything under a ton is 20 bucks. So if I can just make it with one truckload, it would be a very cheap trip versus getting a dumpster, which is going to be 150 to 200 bucks. But the problem is yesterday, after we did all that, I think about 4 o'clock, we discovered that our governor has decided to go ahead and put the state of Missouri on lockdown, like many states have done. Now, we're not very clear on what that means just yet. Carolyn wanted to go and get some groceries today, so we can make it through this lockdown. So that prevented me from actually getting to do anything, but it's still going to be pretty cool tomorrow. And so I'll be able to do this tomorrow. I can burn it without worrying about snakes because it's so cold. You know, snakes just don't come out in the cold. And I know they're out. I know the snakes are out, not copperheads. I haven't seen a copperhead. I have seen a little gardener snake or a ringneck. I'm not sure which one it was. And I also seen lizards. So if lizards are out, that means snakes are out as well. And the lizard scared me to death. He was on the trailer, buried in a piece of carpet. And of course, I'm scraping the dirt off the carpet. And he started wiggling around. Ah! Fortunately, I saw a leg. So tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and I'll clean this up. When the pandemic strikes, we got to figure out how to be able to get a lot of groceries into a very tiny spot. I know that I've taken some criticism on the type of groceries that we buy. Oh, that's not healthy food. So before I get into what I buy, I want to give you my philosophy on healthy. I feel like Carolyn and I are very healthy people. I feel like we eat healthy. And this is just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I think different people require different food substances. And the reason I think this is because I adopted my daughter. And I'm a big meat eater, love to eat meat. And when she was growing up, she hated meat, hated it. But she would eat tofu and all these other yucky foods. And I just couldn't figure it out. Well, as I observed her and her behaviors, I realized that she was a big vegetable eater. You could put any kind of vegetable in front of her and she would scarf it down. Me, on the other hand, growing up, you put vegetables in front of me, I would sit there all night and stare at the plate. But I can scarf down some meat. And I think that's just inherent into a person's DNA. You know, Carolyn, on the other hand, she's not quite as big of a meat eater, But she's big into potatoes and vegetables and things that we can store. We're able to get along pretty good in this little tiny camper with a mini fridge. But we learned how to pack a lot of food into a tight spot when Carolyn and I were traveling the country as nomads. When we went to the Grand Canyon, we were there for a month. There was 150 miles away from any type of, Walmart. I think there was one Page, and then there was one in Utah, Hurricane, Utah, and I know I'm saying hurricane wrong. So, I mean, they were a long distance away, and we were at the North Rim Grand Canyon. So we had to pack a lot of food. If you learn how to minimize the amount of space that you put your food into, you also learn how to start minimizing the cost. Carolyn has went shopping twice in the last 2 weeks to prepare for this lockdown. The first one, she spent $140, and the second one, she spent $60. So for a month, for 2 people, she has spent $200. That's all the money that we're gonna spend. You have to really kind of plan out what you're gonna do, I guess. You have to pack your food in a fashion that you know how you're gonna eat it. So this isn't a lot of luxury items. This is just bare essentials. But over time, you learn how to live on bare essentials. I'm telling you, Carolyn and I feel very healthy, and we don't feel like we're starving. Of course, we're out of shape, but I blame the out of shape of being a nomad, not so much as eating the wrong foods. But as far as meals, we do really well. We don't go out to eat a lot. Now, as far as other bad behaviors, well, here's the thing. Carolyn and I do not drink. We don't drink alcohol. Carolyn and I have been together, 6 years? And we've never had a drink. We don't smoke. Her and I both quit right after we met each other. And so the only really staple item that we have is coffee. And I know everybody has different opinions about coffee. We drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee each. But so that's really our only real bad addictive, thing. So I'm going to show you inside the fridge here. Fridge is just a mini fridge. I'm actually taller than the fridge, and it's on 2 bricks inside the cab over here. So when I come in, it's gonna be hard to see, I'm sure. All right, so I got a flashlight on to kind of help it out, but as you can see, it's just a little, what is that, Hager? I don't know how to pronounce it. Refrigerator, mini fridge. To give you some scale, there's my hand. That's the freezer, and that's the refrigerator. And so when we pack the freezer, we pack it very tightly. We got chicken and some pork, some hamburger and some sausages, and then we pack it very tightly. Key is that you smash these things down as flat as you can get them. You get all the air out of the bags. You can fit a lot of food in here. Believe it or not, there are 27 meals in this freezer. Now there's 27 meals in this freezer. So that's going to last us all the way through the lockdown. And in the refrigerator, of course, we don't have quite as much. We've got some yogurt and cheese and eggs. So the refrigerator isn't quite as important to us as the freezer. But what makes all this work is the secondary dishes that we can store anywhere. We can store them in the truck. We can store them underneath the bed of the camper, store them on the cab over. We can store them outside. We always have a secondary dish. Potatoes, rice, beans. And when it comes to cooking these things, like tonight, we're gonna have chicken soup. So that means that she's gonna take some spaghetti noodles and cook the chicken up, put it in the spaghetti noodles, and that spaghetti is what fills you up. The meat, the chicken, it is what gives you your protein. And so you don't need a lot of meat. I'm a big fan of cheese. As a matter of fact, I can remember when I was a kid, I asked my mom and dad to get me cheese, to have the Easter Bunny bring me cheese for Easter instead of candy. And I can still remember the look on their face. They were just shocked. A kid doesn't want candy. No, I like cheese. So Carolyn will make me like a ramen noodle. Macaroni cheese is not macaroni cheese, it's ramen noodle cheese. Or she'll use spaghetti noodles and cheese. The reason we do that is we don't want to buy 2 separate items. Of course, ramen noodles we use for everything. We use that for soups and different things. But if instead of buying a bunch of different packages of different kind of noodles, like elbow noodles and wheat noodles and all that, she just buys spaghetti noodles. And then we can stack them up, nice little neat stacks. Doesn't take up very much room, and we can use them for almost every meal. Cost effective, doesn't take a lot of space, And we'll be able to manage this pandemic very easily. The other thing this does is that with that little bitty refrigerator, it doesn't run very often. It doesn't take a lot to cool it. So it's very cost effective to run it. Or you can run it on solar panels. So my recommendation is, in order for you to just begin learning how to live off-grid, in the past, get yourself some solar panels, start playing with them. Well, also start playing with your food budget, especially now that we're in this pandemic. Set aside $200, say, this is what I'm going to spend this month on food. Thanks for watching.